I'm Molly McManus with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Broome County. Welcome to Savoring the Flavors of the Southern Tier, a collaboration between Southern Tier independent restaurants, the Greater Binghamton Chamber of Commerce, Cornell Cooperative Extension of Broome County, and sponsored by IBM. This project is an opportunity for some of our local chefs to share one of their unique culinary creations and to guide us through the steps of preparation. Our demonstration site is the Commercial Kitchen, located in the Farmers Market building on the Cooperative Extension campus. Dining in or doing takeout, our local restaurants stand ready to serve you.
Hey there, I'm Marc Yezzi, General Manager at The Colonial, located at 5658 Court Street in downtown Binghamton. We have an amazing place with a great atmosphere, famous burgers and wings, and a fantastic craft beer selection. Today I'm here to demonstrate to you our famous Bernaise Burger, and as a side with it, we will be making a Colonial classic recipe of pan-seared Brussels sprouts with bacon and blue cheese crumbles. So for our ingredients today, for our Brussels sprouts, we're going to have halved Brussels sprouts, normal bacon here. You can use pancetta or a thicker cut bacon if you'd like, anything that's your preference, but today we just have a normal cut of bacon. Some blue cheese crumbles, and we'll also be using just some lemon juice. For our Bernays sauce, we are going to have some red wine vinegar, a little bit of tarragon. Fresh is better. You can substitute with dried, but we definitely prefer to use fresh here, and a shallot, along with egg yolks, and of course, butter. For our burger itself, we will have an 8-ounce 80/20 ground beef burger, some sliced baby bella mushrooms, a brioche bun. We like to use brioche at the restaurant for its buttery flavor and texture, and some Swiss cheese. So, just cooking bacon here. Cast iron is our preferred method. It just heats really well. It's a very even heat on it and lets the bacon render its fat and also get a nice crispiness to it at the same time. So we're going to cook this until we render the fat out of it, and after that we will take it and save that fat to cook the Brussels sprouts with. Alright, so once you're finished cooking your bacon, you're going to want to make sure to take it out of the pan, lay it on some paper towels just to help drain off that excess fat. You keep the rest of the fat that is rendered from it in the pan, and that's what we're going to use to start cooking our Brussels sprouts. Make sure that when you are handling cast iron, you are using a towel of some sort, as that all parts of the pan here are going to be pretty hot. Alright, so the next step, we're going to start our Brussels sprouts using that rendered fat from the bacon. You're going to have it on about like a low to medium low heat here. Important that you don't want to burn the bottom of the sprouts. They do take a little bit to get that nice brown on the bottom, but you're just going to lay them down with the cut side down there, and you'll hear them start to sizzle with the fat. Going to line them through the pan here. I'm going to give them a little bit of space to breathe. If they're too close, they're just going to lengthen the cooking time there. But you want to make sure that that side is nice and pressed onto the pan so that way they can brown. Alright, so you want to let them go for a while on this side. We're looking for this nice golden brown color as you see there. Don't want to go too charred on them, but once you start to see this color here, you can go ahead and start to flip them onto the other side there. Afterwards, we're going to hit them with about half of our blue cheese crumbles right into the pan. And then from there, we'll take them and we're going to finish them right in the oven so that way they can roast at about 350, 375 and finish roasting until they're perfectly done. Alright, so we're going to start our Bernaise sauce for our burger. What we're going to do here is start with our shallot. Helpful to take a little bit off the bottom to start with a square base for your knife cuts. From there, we're going to do a small dice. And how we start that, give yourself a nice flat starting spot. And you're going to follow these grooves of the shallot with your knife all the way around it. Careful not to go towards the end of the shallot there, because you want to leave that kind of nub on the back side as a placeholder so the whole thing doesn't fall apart as you start to dice. So as you make your vertical cuts here, you're going to go all the way around. And then from there, if you want to place your hand there, careful not to cut as you make your horizontal knife cuts. And what this is doing is giving you a nice cross section to start your small dice. From there, you can separate off what you're going to need and save the rest for later. And you'll have your shallot there ready to go for your Bernaise. After that, what we're going to do is take our picked tarragon leaves here, and we're just going to give these a rough chop. You don't want whole leaves in there, but they also don't need to be very fine going into the Bernaise sauce here. Now these are going to be the starting points of our Bernaise sauce, along with our red wine vinegar, which we'll get that going on the stove now, so that way it can reduce and really fortify those flavors into the reduction for the start of the sauce. Alright, so to start our Bernaise sauce here, what you're going to do is pour your red wine vinegar right into the pot, along with our diced up shallot and tarragon. Basically, those three ingredients are going to be the start of the sauce. It's going to fortify and really build those flavors into it. You can turn this burner right on up to a pretty high heat. We're looking for a nice boiling reduction. Basically, you'll start to see the vinegar bubble around, and the liquid will start to reduce slowly. Leaving it on high is fine. It won't scorch it or anything, and we're looking to bring that liquid down to about 25% of what you start with, and then we can start to incorporate the butter and egg yolks to finish that sauce. While that is reducing, you can start to get your pan hot for your burger and let that start to heat up. You never want to put your protein directly into a cold pan. You always want to start with your pan hot before you add any sort of protein into it, so it helps it get that sear on it right from the get-go. Alright, so once your pan is hot here, we're just going to hit this burger patty with a little bit of salt and pepper. You want to get a nice even coat on there. Like to not be shy with it. And then what you're going to do is just throw it right side down right into that pan and let it sear. We're going to let this go on this side for probably about 5 minutes or so, and then we will flip and let it go. We're going to try to go for a nice medium on this burger today. So if you want to take a look over at our reduction here for the beginning of our Bernaise, we are at a pretty good rolling boil. You're going to see these bubbles, and they'll stop if you pull them off the heat. They'll kind of slow down here. You can see we're about halfway reduced from where we started with this vinegar reduction. So we're going to put it back on and let it continue to go there for about another 3 to 4 minutes. Alright, so once we got here, our reduction is pretty much taken all the way down. See a little bit of liquid still left on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn our heat down to a nice medium on that burner. And we're making an emulsification sauce. So you want to keep your butter very cold, and that will help it to help bind these things together. If the butter is too hot, the sauce is going to break and it's not going to hold its consistency. And the coldness will help to counteract how hot this reduction is. Cubed up is just a way that we like to do it, so that way you're not adding a huge chunk of it and trying to melt that all at one time. And how you make this sauce is slowly you're going to introduce this cold butter into this reduction. You're going to see it start to melt, and you want to do this as slowly so that way it's incorporated and you're trying to keep that same consistency all the way through. If you add too much butter all at the same time, it's going to take the temperature down too low, and it's not going to be able to keep that sauce consistency that we're looking for. It's just going to kind of seize up into congealed butter. You want to go until we can get that all the way melted there. And you're not going to add any more butter cubes until you're melted. Now, I'm just turning the pot here as I go, a little bit off the burner and kind of turning it as we stir here, so that way the heat from the flame is not all on one part of it. So as you need to add more butter, you throw some more cubes in there and continue to whisk. Now, something like this, a Bernaise or a Hollandaise sauce, you want to kind of whisk vigorously as you go to really make sure that you're incorporating these two things together. After about a couple handfuls of the butter are melted into there and you have a nice base for your sauce, we're going to add our egg yolks in. So the egg yolks here are going to be really the next binding ingredient in this sauce. And this is going to be a very delicate part of making this Bernaise because, like I said, temperature is going to be a very big part of making this sauce correctly. So if it's too cold, it's just going to seize up on you. But once you add the eggs, if it's too hot and you don't stir quick enough, they could scramble on the bottom of the pan, and that's not going to make for a good sauce. So once we've got a couple handfuls of our butter melted there, we're going to add in another handful along with our egg yolks right in there. I use 6 egg yolks per pound of butter, and that is the ratio that'll make a decent amount of Bernaise for you. So now that the egg yolks are in, like I said, you're going to want to whisk pretty vigorously here in order to make sure that they are kept off the heat long enough so that they don't scramble, but also so that you are incorporated into that butter and vinegar mixture. So you're going to see the sauce, the color of it starting to lighten up here from what that bright red was from the red wine vinegar. You should start to get this nice light yellowish color from adding the butter and the egg yolks into it. We're just about there. It's a process that takes a little bit of forearm strength here, and you're probably going to break a little bit of a sweat whisking it up. But
how long have you been doing it? How long does it normally take?
So, start to finish, I would say it'd take probably about like 10 minutes all in all. And like I said, it's really because you want to slowly incorporate that butter in and make sure that you're keeping your temperature stable to get the right consistency of the sauce. And what we're looking for is just that it's a little bit thicker, and if you start to whisk it and it can hit the side of the pan and leave a little bit as it starts to fall down there, you're at about the right consistency. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill the heat on this, and we're going to leave it off to the side. We're going to throw in a little bit more fresh tarragon here. So we added most of it in the beginning to reduce with that vinegar and the shallot to help fortify that flavor. But a little bit of herb at the end always helps to add that extra aroma right on the nose as you finish your sauce. We're also going to give a few hefty pinches of salt and pepper. And I know a lot of at-home cooking, it seems like you're adding a lot of salt there, but it really helps to enhance those flavors of everything else in the sauce and the dish. We're going to give that a little bit of a whisk just to make sure that we're at the right consistency. And then afterwards there, we're just going to set it off onto the burner, and that can sit as we finish. So our burger here is ready to be flipped, and we're just going to give that flip. And you can see that nice sear on that side of the burger. You go ahead and place your cheese right on top. Lower the heat a little bit there to make sure that you're not overdoing it, but it'll start to slowly melt over the edges of that burger. What we can do now as well, we're going to add the mushrooms right into the side of the pan so that way they can heat up as the burger finishes cooking. Save yourself some time there. And a nice handful of these sauteed baby bellas here, because who doesn't like mushrooms on their burger? Alright, so as you can start to see the Swiss cheese slowly melt over the burger, we're going to kill the heat completely on that. The residual heat from the pan is going to help that steam build up around the cheese and let that melt over, but also killing the heat will let it finish cooking in the pan there and kind of rest as we go. We're just going to lightly toast our brioche bun in another pan here. And what we'll do is just add a little bit of butter into that, let that melt, and then throw our bun in there to get a nice golden brown toast on that. So once you have your butter melted there, just going to put our brioche bun, top and bottom, right in there. Really press down and get that in all the nooks and crannies of the bun. And just kind of leave that on a medium to medium high heat just to toast. Once you start to see a nice golden brown on that bun there, we're just going to kill the heat on that and take that off to start to prepare to set up our burger. Alright, so now that we have all of our components of our dish ready to go, we're just going to work on finishing and plating. The first thing that we're going to need to do is we have our Brussels sprouts out of the oven here. We're going to take that bacon that we cooked earlier and just give it a rough chop here on our cutting board. From there, we're going to take it and add it directly into our Brussels sprouts. We're going to have those there in the pan. We're going to top them off with the rest of our blue cheese crumbles. And then also, we're just going to finish it with a fresh squeeze of lemon juice. From there, we can start to build our plate. We'll have our bowl. We're going to just kind of use that lemon juice here to deglaze the bottom of the Brussels sprouts pan and kind of mix together that bacon and the blue cheese crumble that we just added in at the end there. From there, we're going to go directly into the side of our dish. Really pile them up high there. Get all that goodness out of that cast iron pan. Then we'll take the bottom of our brioche bun. We're going to take our burger with Swiss there. Take out some of our sauteed baby bells that we heated up in that pan. And load them high onto that burger. Take our Bernays sauce that we've made. Give it a quick stir here. And then finish right over the top. A couple nice spoonfuls there. Really coat that burger. It's a messy one, so make sure you've got some napkins with you. Top it right off. And there you have Colonial's famous Bernaise Burger, along with a side of pan-seared Brussels sprouts with bacon and blue cheese crumbles. Alright, as I said, my name is Marc Yezzi, General Manager at The Colonial. I want to thank you for joining me as I demonstrated how to prepare our famous Bernaise Burger along with a side of pan-seared Brussels sprouts. We are located downtown Binghamton at 5658 Court Street, open every day of the week for dine-in and take-out curbside pickup. We have a lovely outdoor patio during warmer days, which allows more of the community to come down and enjoy what we have to offer in downtown. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, it's Molly McManus again. Thanks for watching. I hope this demonstration provided some useful tips for the next time you're in the kitchen. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more like it, we'd welcome your financial support. You can make a donation on our secure website, stir-local.com. Thanks again for tuning in.